Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about perspective and how we're going to take very different perspectives from where we are. And I'm going to use Trump and E. Jean Carroll in this in order to try to understand. We're going to try to see from different perspectives in each other's shoes. And then we're going to extrapolate that into what different people of political different perspectives are going to see. And it's not to justify or show like this is the right thing or that's the wrong thing or whatever, just so that you can see that we're coming to things from different perspectives. Now, it shouldn't be that something changes, something's either right or wrong. Like, so you look at any political issue, right? And Democrats are maybe at 80% and Republicans are at 20%, or vice versa. Democrats are at 20% and Republicans are at 80%. When that happens, it's not so much what the event is or what the issue is, so much as the perspective of people on either side of the issue shaping the way that they see things. So when we go to this, let's think about Trump and E. Jean Carroll. Like here's the article. So what's happened here is that a jury finds that Trump must pay $83.3 million to E. Jean Carroll. This is in a civil trial, not a criminal trial. He's not going to jail. He does have to pay a large fine. So let's try to look at different perspectives. So E. Jean Carroll's perspective first. Let's look at that. So does she have rights? Yes. Has she been wronged? Well, according to the jury, she has been wronged. And how has she been wronged? Well, the original thing was a suit about being sexually violated. Okay, I'm not going to get into specifics, but that was the original suit. But then there's also this about defamation, about Trump then adding fuel to the fire by saying things about her and tweeting and talking in public and whatever else. And so she has at least been wronged in that sense. Let's look at the other side. So she has rights that shouldn't be violated, and she has been wronged at least in that regard. Trump, does he have rights? Yes. What are those rights? Well, he's at least entitled to be innocent until proven guilty. Now, but then he went and fueled the fire by saying all these things about her. So he's clearly violated that. And so he is wrong in that sense. But the perception is that he's been wronged because she made this up and now it's defaming him and he's just fighting back because right. So this is how his supporters are going to see things. So let's read a little bit about the case itself here, and then we'll try to unpack this and make some sense of it. So former President Donald Trump must pay 83.3 million in damages for defamatory statements he made denying he sexually assaulted the writer E. Jean Carroll. A federal jury ruled on Friday, handing down a stunning verdict after less than 3 hours of deliberation. So again, this trial was about the defamatory statements that were made. The jury awarded Carroll 18.3 million in compensatory damages. Now there are different levels of damages. That's to make you whole. And 65 million in punitive damages. Like they're like going, this was so egregious, we're going to do this to you, right? That's punitive punishment. That's the same word, punitive. Um, and compensatory amount included 11 million for repairing her reputation and 7.3 million for emotional harm. Okay, so far more was done to punish Trump than was just to make her whole for whatever damage was done to her reputation. Carroll's attorneys asked the jury to award 24 million in compensatory damages. The punitive amount, lawyer Robert Kaplan said, should be enough to make him stop defaming her client. Okay, so how will people on the left side of the political spectrum see this? They'll look at this and they'll say, well, sure, he did it. He did the crime. He's guilty. He whatever. How will people on the right side of the spectrum look at it? Hey, they're setting him up. He didn't do this thing, but you got to factor in that he was saying this stuff about her. Yeah, but the original, he didn't do this to her, and she's just trying to drag him out. And why did this happen in the 90s and it's just coming out now? And that's the way that they're going to react. So let's try to understand a little bit more about this. Yesterday, I put out this poll on my YouTube channel, and it's actually really informative in trying to understand these different positions. Before we even talk about this, let's look at this one question. This jury provided 65 million in punishing Trump above and beyond compensating her for what he's done, right? They're punishing him to the tune of $65 million. Now, it's a jury in New York City. And if you're looking at that, if she had the trial in Alabama, do you think she would have prevailed? And if your answer is no, then this is why the MAGA populists that are most fully supporting Trump, this is why they are saying this is rigged, because the jury trial happened in New York City. He's deeply, wildly unpopular in New York. And so, is that really justice, they're asking? And again, why is it now? And why so much? And now I understand he fueled the fire. He was adding extra war, adding insult to injury, constantly talking about it, tweeting about it, whatever. I get that. But they don't see it the same way. Let's go look at this. So I put out these two polls, and they're essentially the same thing, but they were split in order to get an understanding from different groups. So this is 2 of 2, and here's 1 of 2. There are 2 polls, one for the right, one for others. What are you thinking about Trump, Americans only? This one is for those not on the political right. So the first thing, I'm a moderate centrist and Trump is guilty. I'm a moderate centrist and Trump is innocent. I'm on the political left and Trump is guilty. I'm on the political left and Trump is innocent. And then I just want to see the results. So we're not looking at the total numbers and the percentages. We're looking at the degrees here, right? So on the moderate one, we had 40 to 4%. You have 10 times more moderates think that he's guilty than that he's innocent. So 10 to 1, they say he's guilty. Now that increases when you're on the political left, but part of that you probably would chalk up to political lens that you have on. Like if you're on the political left, you're already inclined to see Trump as guilty, right? I mean, that's just like he did it. It's no question. I get it. Okay. On the political left and Trump is guilty, 18 to on the political left and Trump is innocent, 1%. So honestly, this went up from 10 to 1 for moderates to 18 to 1 for those on the left. Okay, now let's look at how conservatives and populists on the right see this. I am MAGA pro-Trump Republican and Trump is guilty. I'm MAGA pro-Trump Republican and Trump is innocent. I'm a conservative but not MAGA and Trump is guilty. I'm conservative but not MAGA and Trump is innocent. So if you're a MAGA Trump supporting Republican, you are 2 and 5 to say that he is guilty. And that amounts to 1 person says he's guilty for every 2.5 that say that he is innocent. Like, that's a pretty significant reversal, right? That it reversed at all is significant. But if you're a conservative but not MAGA, like Reagan conservative, old guard conservative, someone like me, 23% to 5%. And that's a ratio of 4.6 to 1 likely to say that he's guilty. So what are the numbers again? So you have moderates will say 10 to 1 guilty. Those on the left, 18 to 1 guilty. Conservatives will say 4.6 to 1 guilty. But MAGA are looking at it and saying he's 2.5 to 1 more likely to be innocent. So what's going on? And I think it's just a matter of perspective. They're already inclined to see it this way. Pro-Trump populist MAGA, however you want to describe it, are far more likely to think that this is just a hit job. It never should have happened. She's making stuff up or whatever. The facts of the matter have not changed, but it's the perspectives that have radically changed from 2.5 to 1 innocent for MAGA Republicans who are looking at that thinking he's been set up to 18 to 1 guilty for those on the left thinking, of course he did it. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comments below. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine. By the way, why am I talking about this when this channel is devoted to Ukraine? because what happens if President Trump comes to power as opposed to a different candidate may very well shape what's happening in Ukraine.